Namaste and welcome to Youth TV Show Season 2. My name is Ayushma. Today we have with us 4 women who have set an example to all of us to be committed and dedicated to our work. They are women peacemakers who have served their country with a sense of selflessness. In today's program, I am honored to introduce these women peacemakers. Miss Mary Ann Arnaldo works with Ceasefire and Peace Progress so as to improve the participation of women in the peace progress between the government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front.
Primarily, I am handling the ceasefire monitoring work at the grassroots level. So we are organizing volunteers, displaced communities, women and youth to come together, volunteer their services so that we are able to effectively monitor the ceasefire agreement between the Philippine government and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. So we are actually watching the implementation of the ceasefire to ensure that the rebels and the soldiers will implement what they have agreed. And so we are mobilizing young people especially for this purpose. And this is precisely done in order to create a conducive atmosphere for the negotiation in the official level. So we work and support the peace panels so that they are able to implement the ceasefire at the ground. We help silence the guns so that the contending parties will be able to talk effectively. Not really. As a child, I was just like any child who wants to play, who wants to go around and have fun. But as I grow older, as I become more mature, when I entered the university, that's when I had my own politicization, and at the time we were dealing with the martial law of the Marcos dictatorship, and so that's how I got involved in peace building work. At the time we were struggling, we were fighting against the dictatorship. Well, at the time we were in the middle of the all-out war, which was waged by the former President Estrada, who was an action star. And so he won by popularity because of his showbiz personality. And so when he entered the presidency, he thought the Mindanao situation is another action film, and he declared immediately an all-out war to wipe out the Bangsamoro people. He declared that he's going to pulverize the Bangsamoro, the Muslim population in Mindanao. And so that was a very scary situation for having a kind of leader like that. And at the time of the all-out war, we have over 1 million people who were displaced. And at the time, the children who were staying in the evacuation centers could no longer survive in the difficulties of the evacuation. So people, especially children, just die of measles and other preventable diseases like diarrhea. And so our group worked together to convince the Philippine government to declare a ceasefire for humanitarian consideration, for the sake of the children who are affected. And at that time also, we had a complete travel ban to Mindanao, and our hotels were having zero occupancy. Two of our airport and our seaport were also bombed. And so we were the whole place in total chaos. And our group in the Mindanao People's Caucus, Muslims, Christians, and indigenous peoples alike, we come together to put a stop to this madness, and we cannot allow ourselves to exploit the situation as a Muslim-Christian conflict, which is what they are trying to show. They were trying to polarize the situation between Muslims against Christians, and so we come together, civil society, grassroots women from all religions, interfaith, so that we are able to immediately call for a ceasefire. And in that campaign, we went around the evacuation centers. We talked to the IDPs. We conducted several focus group discussions so that we can ask people, what can we do? What shall we do as grassroots, as ordinary people? We do not have the command of the army and the rebels, but we are the ones suffering and affected by the conflict. And so based on our discussions and focus group meetings, the IDPs have agreed that they will come out to the street. They will go out to the street and conduct a peaceful demonstration, which we call Bakwit Power, or the Bakwit means this is our colloquial term for IDPs or displaced. And so in this campaign, we bring together, everyone just came out of the evacuation centers and protested, demanded for a complete and unconditional ceasefire in Mindanao. And it took some time for us to organize that. Others just also want to continue with the war. There are Christians who have also taken up arms because they are being used also by government. And so in the end, we all agreed that this is not the way to resolve the armed conflict. And for humanitarian reason, we need to stop the conflict. And so we campaigned for 3 days. We stood along the highways, and we brought with us placards. We were standing silently, but with a very strong message that we want a ceasefire, we want the fighting to stop, we want our children to go back to school. And there, for 3 days, we just stood. Thousands of people gathered around the streets and silently protesting that there should be a ceasefire. Now, we are very lucky that I think on a week after that, the third day of the demonstration, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front declared a unilateral ceasefire in response to our call. And 1 week after that, the government also reciprocated by declaring also a ceasefire. And so for us, the ceasefire at this point is something that we own. It is something that we have accomplished from our effort at the grassroots level. And the challenge right now is how to finally put a political settlement of the root causes of the armed conflict through the negotiation. Well, I still consider myself as a youth. I don't know what is your age bracket for the youth, but I come from the youth sector. I started with the youth movement. That's how I started my whole political and peace-building work. And so even up to this point, I still feel that I'm part of the youth. That's why I'm also very supportive of the efforts of the youth leaders back in my place, because I see that there's a lot of things that they can do. There are especially now with the technology, especially with internet, Facebook, Twitter, all this technology. You are all very lucky. During our time, we were just typing and or using our pens to be able to communicate our message. Now, you have the internet. You can easily write, you can easily research, you can easily communicate with one another. You are in a far better position to introduce changes within your community. So I really challenge the youth to take this on further.
Ms. Sheen Abdul Sarau is one of the founder members of the Women's Development Program. She assisted in the implementation of the Shakti Gender Equality Program that helped all the government and the non-governmental organizations of Sri Lanka to come together to produce sensitive issues, problems, results such as gender inequality, political and social problems. In 1990, the Tamil Tigers evicted the entire Muslim community from north part of Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan conflict is seen as a conflict between the Sinhala and Tamil conflict, but the Muslim minority has got caught to the whole process, and we were the first group of people to pay for it. Actually, the whole eviction made me to think what it is to be a minority in my country, irrespective of the, class or caste you come from. It is all about how minorities are oppressed everywhere. My work started with that in order to make sure that the minority communities stand holding hand together strongly for their rights. So to date, I work on connecting the Tamil and Muslim minority women together in order to demand for social justice in my country. No, I don't think right now the way the war ended in Sri Lanka, it is a military defeat, and in the post-war context, I'm not even calling it a post-conflict country. What happened was the Tamil Tigers were defeated, and thereafter the government effectively foreclosed any engagement with the communities, especially minority communities. Particularly when the Tamil Tiger leader was killed, the parliament, the first speech, our president said he said there are two groups of people in my country. One is the people who love the country, the other group who don't love the country. So the minorities don't love the country, so we are traitors. So it is very important at the point of the defeat that the government should have engaged with the minority groups and give a political solution to the minority community in Sri Lanka. That didn't happen. The whole area I work is so militarized. I feel that the discrimination and violence is not going to end at all in Sri Lanka. Well, this was a program initiated by Canadian International Development Agency. I was in charge of women's economic empowerment and also engaging the government line ministries to become part of the whole gender mainstreaming process. I could say one of the achievements of the Shakti project is bringing in Domestic Violence Act in Sri Lanka. We were able to prove to the government that domestic violence is no more a private issue. It is a public issue, and we proved it to the government with the statistics, and with the greatest difficulty we passed the Domestic Violence Act, which is enforced right now in Sri Lanka, and many women who have been abused by their husbands now have the space to take up cases against their husbands. As I previously said, my passion is about bringing the women together, particularly minority women. One of the things we are doing through Mana Women's Development Federation is, irrespective of ethnicity, caste, religious base, women come as a group of people to make change, demand for social justice. And in that process, we look at women as a group of people who have been oppressed for a very long time in Sri Lanka, and my educational program teaches women their rights, particularly women's rights as human rights, and their right to access to economic, social, and political spaces. And that's how we bring the Muslim and Tamil women together to demand for their spaces, various spaces, and particularly political spaces.
Well, my passion is working with young people. Nepal has a very young democracy. You guys out there, youth, young people, have a whole new space to make Nepal as a fully democratic, developed country, and be bold. Have your dreams, run wild, but make sure that you are conscious about what you want to do. Be persistent and have patience. You will achieve whatever you like to do.